Just such a negative Nancy. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Stephanie and thank you so much for tuning in to this video. I would like to say thank you so much to those who have watched my channel introduction video and to those who have subscribed. Like, what? I've gained 28 subscribers from that video, and it's just so encouraging, the fact that, you know, I haven't posted much content. That's my first video, but yet people still want to subscribe and see something worth subscribing to, and that's just so encouraging to me. So thank you for the support so early. So super appreciative. So thank you so much. A key theme that I want to do on my channel is basically, you know, showcasing the type of woman that I'm trying to be. You know, we're chasing after the woman of our dreams, and we're trying to see how we can grow internally as well as externally. And so a big part for me that I've noticed recently that I would like to change and grow from is this pessimistic mindset that I've been struggling with for quite some time now. And maybe you clicked on this video because, you know, you resonate with, you know, the title, and you know you're struggling with that too. And girl, it's okay, because you know, we're here with it and we're here to help each other out. And in this video I want to share kind of what I've learned about pessimism, and basically what the Lord has really put on my heart to share, as well as what I've read through the word that has really put things into perspective. So first, I would like to read the definition of pessimism, because I really feel like it's going to set the tone of what we're going to talk about. So let's get into the definition. Courtesy of Google, thank you so much, girl. My go-to. So it says, pessimism is a tendency to see the worst aspect of things or believe the worst will happen, a lack of hope or confidence in the future. Now, when I read that definition, it definitely read me for the filth, because I am the type of person to really see the worst. You know, that's my default setting, especially with things that I desire, things that I really care about, things that I want to happen in the future. I have this default setting of wanting, having an outlook to see the worst and to not have that much confidence or hope that it will happen for me. And that's so bad. Some quick examples I can give of that would be, you know, I didn't have my first date until I was 22. And you know, prior to that, I was really pondering if I would ever be asked out by a guy. Am I ever gonna experience dating? I was in this mindset of, it's probably, I just can't see it happening. I can't see myself, you know, experiencing this. You kind of get the picture. It's like the definition said, not feeling very hopeful of the future. Terrible. And another quick example of that would also be that last year I was on the hunt for my big girl job, and you know, just, you know, graduating college and really on the hunt to be making the money that I desired. And along the journey, I was very pessimistic about landing the type of job with the benefits, with the salary, what I was looking for. And all my other friends were just so much more optimistic about them being able to find something, you know, after graduating. And then versus me, I'm over here like, me being a believer, me being someone who has faith in the Lord, I'm over here like, I feel like it's never gonna happen. I feel like I'm never gonna get the job. I feel like it's just not within my grasp. Like, who's gonna want someone with no experience? And like, it was countless job interviews, and that didn't make the mindset or my attitude any better, but one day I was just really convicted. And I would say that I recently became very convicted about my attitude, about my pessimism, because that's really what it is. Like, I'm a pessimistic person. I'm not the optimistic. Okay, I wouldn't say I'm not the optimistic kind, but if you were to see it on a scale, there's more pessimism than optimism. And that really hit my spirit, like, Stephanie, like, we have to change this because it's not good. It's not okay. It's bothering me. Now I want to read Deuteronomy 1 verse 27 to 33. I'm not going to read all of it, but when I read these verses, I was like, whoa, this is me. And it's reference to the children of Israel. When I read these verses, I was like, oh, okay, Lord, like, I see what you're trying to tell me. I see the picture. Boo, boo, boo. Okay, the dots are connecting. So for some reference, this is basically the Lord is telling the Israelites that they can now go and possess the land, the promised land that he has for them. But because that there are already people living in the land, the Israelites are like, no, like, I'm okay. Like, how is this a blessing when there are people in there that we fear? We are scared. How is this a blessing? We're not going there. We don't feel comfortable. It's a no from God. It's a no from me. So let's go ahead and read verse 27. And you complained in your tents and said, because the Lord hates us, he has brought us out of the land of Egypt to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites, to destroy us. Now let's pause right there. When I read this verse, I was like, because the Lord hates us? Now, what? I felt like that was so dramatic. Like, I'm like, come on now, guys, come on now. And it's so easy for us to, like, nitpick at, like, the children of Israel. But I had to really sit with that verse and say to myself, like, oh no, that sounds like me. That sounds like me. They had the boldness to say, the Lord hates us. They were like, why would the Lord bring us to this promised land where the Amorites are? Wow, this is not a promised land. But it's crazy that they literally said the Lord hates us when we can see through, like, the chapters of from the time that Moses delivered them to, like, where they are now. God has been doing so much provision, so much different things, and they're like, he hates us. He hates us. Let's read verse 29. Then I said to you, do not be terrified or afraid of them. The Lord your God who goes before you, he will fight for you according to all he did for you in Egypt before your eyes, and in the wilderness where you saw how the Lord your God has carried you, as a man carries his son, and all the way that you went until you came to this place. Yet for all that, you did not believe the Lord your God. And that's God is basically saying, there's so many times that I have been with you, that I've provided for you. Why is it still that you have this default setting of negativity, of pessimism, of unbelieving? In verse 31, he goes on to say that he was a fire by night and a cloud by day. And it's like God is saying to me, I feel like, that real spiritual maturity is when you can look back over what the Lord has done for you in your life and say, okay, this is a new situation, but this is what the Lord has constantly been doing for me in the past. So I'm going to take that as my reassurance, that as my encouragement to not be unbelieving, to not go into this new situation having so much negativity. What I really realized through reading this text and other texts about the children of Israel in the Bible is that they had a habitual problem with being negative, with being unbelieving. And if it's not checked, it will be a vicious cycle to get out of. They were in a constant mind frame of, well, I guess this is it. Like, forget what God did for me 2 months ago. Forget the fact that he caused water to come out of a rock and for, manna to come from the sky. Like, the Lord hates us. For me, it was just like, it's really scary to know that if this is not checked, if you don't have this pessimist awareness, first of all, that you are a pessimistic person, it will go unchecked and it can become a incredible vicious cycle to get out of, because they were dealing with this generations after generations after generations, and it's the same outcome. So that's really what I learned from that verse alone, and it really honestly helped me so much. And also another key thing that really jumped out to me about reading this verse about the Israelites not wanting to inhabit the land because they were scared, because they ultimately didn't believe God had the best in mind for them. All of that really told me that negativity does not prepare you for your blessing. If anything, it destroys the preparation, because you can't be hoping for something, say that you're going to, get the job that you want, but then you have a pessimistic mindset. It just doesn't, pessimism and faith doesn't mix. And that makes me think about how when I was looking for my corporate job, and how when I would get the interview, I would be in my closet like, I don't have anything to wear for this interview. Even though it was virtual, I still didn't have any business, type of wear that I could wear for this interview. And that would happen all the time. I would have so many interviews and just realize oh my goodness, what am I gonna wear? So it's funny how I say that I want something, but the pessimism is keeping me unprepared. If I was going into things more optimistically, knowing that one day I would get the job that I wanted, I would be preparing for it. And that would look like, a part of that would look like, buying the clothes for when my interview would happen one day. You know what I'm saying? So because of their lack of negativity, or because of their lack of pessimism, because of their lack of optimism, the children of Israel, when God's like, here's the land, they're like, no, we can't. They're not in the proper mind frame to even accept the blessing because of all the pessimism they have surrounding how they think, their unbelief in God, etc., etc. So now I'm going to read Matthew 17:14 to 21. Don't know if I'm gonna read all of it. I don't know. I'll probably just go as we go. I forget. But starting with verse 14, and when they had come to the multitude, a man came to him, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is an epileptic and suffers severely, for he often falls into the fire and into the water. So I brought him to your disciples, but they could not cure him. Then Jesus answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? Bring him here to me. And Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. Then the disciples came to Jesus privately and said, Why could we not cast it out? So Jesus said to them, Because of your unbelief. For surely I say to you, if you have faith as a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, Move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. However, this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. So this was another one of those verses that really put things into perspective in regards to being unbelieving and being kind of pessimistic. So we can see that the disciples were trying to cast out a demon out of the boy, but they just could not because of their unbelief. And so after Jesus had to do it himself, they came to him being kind of embarrassed. It says that they came to him privately. So they were just like, so why couldn't we do that? And the Lord is just like, because you don't have the faith. They're like, oh, okay. And what the Lord said to them in verse 21 was really like a light bulb moment when he said, however, this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. So Jesus is telling the disciples basically the type of faith that they can have, the faith as small as a mustard seed to move mountains, to cast out demons. But the Lord basically tells them, like, it's not going to happen just because you would like it to happen. The Lord is saying that this isn't going to happen except by prayer and fasting. And that to me said intentionality. It's not enough for us to just, hope and pray. We have to do the works. What are the works that we are going to do to get to that level of faith, to get to that level of optimism? Fasting is intentional and it's a sacrifice. And so I feel like for us now who are struggling with this pessimistic mindset, I feel like the Lord definitely spoke to me through this verse by saying you need to be intentional about how you are going to stop negative thoughts from entering your mind. With the things that you are desiring now in the future, whether that be, for whatever job next in the future that I want, for that relationship, to be able to own my own place one day. When a negative thought comes into your mind, how are you going to combat that with positivity? Challenging yourself to speak life over you, because the Bible says that the power of life and death are in the tongue, and that's so true. You can literally you're killing your faith by speaking all these negative things over you. You're killing your opportunities because you think you're never gonna have them, so you're killing your self-esteem, your confidence, and we don't need that energy no more. Okay. Another thing that I pulled from these verses that I thought was just really good, like a really good takeaway, was the fact that not believing can really rob God of the glory. Because when the disciples couldn't cast out the demon, and then Jesus had to be like, okay, step aside, let me do it. It would have been sweeter if they were believing in what they knew they could do through God. And I know for me, like last year when I was looking for my corporate job, like I was telling you guys, and the kind of ups and downs I was facing through that, when I did actually get my job, the corporate job that I wanted, when I got an offer, I was like, yay, thank you, God. Even though I was like kind of not really thinking what's gonna happen, I was kind of speaking death over myself and wasn't really being too optimistic about the whole situation. It was a bittersweet celebratory time, because I realized it would have been a lot sweeter if I was more optimistic throughout the whole process. If I was accounting God for all the times that He's provided for me in my life, like job-wise, financial-wise, whatever, and use that type of faith to reference, or to go into the new job search that I was experiencing. It would have been a lot sweeter, and I could have really like glorified with God, to be like, I just knew God was gonna come through for me. I just knew that God was gonna provide and open a door for me. I could have just been like, high five, God, we did that, okay? But I realized I was a lot more pessimistic throughout the process than optimistic, and that really, I think that's when the conviction kind of kicked in, where I was like, oh man, like Stephanie, like you kind of negative, girl. and that's not okay. The lighting probably went down a whole bunch because the sun is setting out there, and the sun sets at like 4:30 now. I hate it here. So this is the end of the video, guys. I really hope that what I've said kind of added some value, put things into perspective for you in terms of pessimism and what that may look like for you, and how you plan to intentionally overcome this mindset. Okay, there's a whole bunch of other things we could talk about in regards to pessimism, but I just stuck to these few core things that I thought were important and that I've been learning and that I really wanted to share with you guys. So thank you so much again for watching, and please be sure to look out for our new video. Turn on those notification bells so you're notified. I don't have a schedule yet, but if you click on the little notification belly thingy, it'll tell you when I upload it. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.